friends, welcome to today's video. I feel like I need to explain a couple things before we get started. As the title tells you, today we're going to be testing the Vichy Soothing Aloe Vera Mask. I say we. I'm going to be testing it, and hopefully you're interested in watching me test it. It is currently nighttime, which is why the curtain is down. I usually try to film during the day, so there's some nice lighting coming from behind. Those of you who watch my channel more regularly would know that I am now working, and I leave my house at like 7:45 and don't get back until after 5 o'clock. And currently it is winter in Canada, so it gets dark early. Like, it's dark by the time I get home, and I only have like 20 minutes of daylight in the morning right before I leave my house when I'm actually home. All that to say that my timing is such in making videos that sometimes I'm going to be filming in the evenings. But also it's the end of my work day and I want to do something nice and soothing for myself. I'm in my PJs and you know, just got my makeup washed off, and I thought this would be nice. So the way I'm going to do this video is I'm going to tell you just very briefly about this mask. I'm going to put it on. It's only a 5-minute mask. While it's on, I'm going to tell you a couple of things that I recently learned about aloe vera. If you're not interested in that, I will also throw a timestamp on to tell you when I'm taking the mask off, and then I will tell you how my skin feels afterwards. And yeah, I just washed my skin, so it's feeling just a little tight around my nose. These little packages from Vichy, basically they have these masks in a jar, and one of the reasons I wanted to try this is Vichy has 5 masks in this series. There's like a clarifying one, there's a brightening one, all kinds. And I have tested 4 of them. This is the last one, so I will link to the other videos and other tests down below. And it's kind of nice. You can buy them in the jar, or you can buy these little 2 mask sample packs. And these end up after tax here in Canada being about $9. So like $4.50 each, which isn't bad for a mask. Vichy is are they a French brand? Well, the idea is for Vichy is that each of their products contains their Vichy Spa thermal water. And Vichy is a place in France that has been known for their thermal hot springs. And the idea is this water that is coming into these hot springs is being forced up through volcanic rock, and it's hot water that's coming up as well. So as it sort of comes up through the rock, it picks up minerals and just all kinds of, mostly minerals, I guess, all kinds of good stuff. So for centuries, people have been going to Vichy to bathe in these thermal spas. So Vichy, the company, takes that thermal spa water and makes it part of all their products, so it's supposed to be doing great things for your skin. This mask in particular, as I mentioned, the main ingredient in here is aloe vera. Vichy masks tend to be quite quick, only like 5 minutes on the skin, which means it'd be pretty easy to work it into your skincare routine. Although if you want to, I'm sure it wouldn't be a bad thing to hang out in this for 10 to 15 minutes. But if you like that sort of longer feeling of wearing a mask, maybe these wouldn't be for you. And basically after washing, you apply this in a thin layer, let it sit for 5 minutes, and then wash it off with water. I will mention, in looking at the ingredients here, there were a few interesting things that I noticed. Is aloe leaf juice is actually pretty far down the list. It's like almost halfway down, which means it's not the main ingredient in here. Also to note is that there is salicylic acid in here, which isn't a bad thing. It's just kind of interesting. Salicylic acid is it's either an alpha hydroxy acid or a beta hydroxy acid. I'm gonna forget which one, but it's really good for people who have acne because it sort of penetrates the skin and sort of cleans the pores, and also is an exfoliant to help the skin turn over. So it's kind of interesting, and it also does soothe the skin, but it's interesting in a soothing mask that there is also salicylic acid. Also to note is that there is beeswax in here, so if you're a vegan, this would not be for you. And the very last ingredient is perfume, which I know, or fragrance, so I know that is something that some people avoid, so I wanted to let you know about that. Okay, enough talking, let's get this on my skin. So interesting, I was picturing this being more of like a green clearish gel, kind of like aloe gel is, but it's actually a pretty matte, opaque kind of cream. It's still green, but ooh, it's a much deeper green. I mean, it does have that aloe smell with a little bit of a spa smell too. It's not the sort of, yeah, aloe gel that I was picturing in my head. Apparently this also has licorice extract. I'm just seeing on the package. I'm gonna get this on and then smooth it out. It's such an interesting texture. It looks like green frosting for my face. Now it does say a thin layer, so I'm not gonna worry about getting it sort of like built up everywhere. Okay, now we will wait for 5 minutes. So in preparing for this video, I was looking at, like, I've always known that aloe is good for your skin, but I was looking specifically for what is good about it. And it led me to this healthline.com article about 10 benefits of using aloe vera for your skin. And they talk about how it's sort of known as a natural remedy. You've probably heard of it being used for sunburn or minor cuts. But there can be some drawbacks to it. They do talk about how you can get aloe, and I actually had a housemate in university who used to do this. She had an aloe plant, and if you have an aloe plant and you need aloe, you just break off a little piece of the aloe leaf and squeeze it, and the aloe gel will come out of it. So that is like pure aloe gel. However, for most of us, it's easier to get it in like a pump gel kind of thing. So they talk about how it can be good for minor burns, for sunburn. However, it doesn't protect you from sunburn, it's just soothing afterwards. If you have a very small abrasion, it can help with that because it can be that it helps collagen production. It says that it can help heal wounds quickly and minimize scarring by boosting collagen and fighting bacteria. It can help with dry skin, and it's also good for oily skin because it's absorbed quickly. And it talks about how because it has some antibacterial properties, it can be good for, as I said, minor cuts or for eczema or psoriasis. And due to the anti-inflammatory effects of aloe vera, it may help treat inflammatory forms of acne. Now, it does say in terms of warnings that some people don't react well to aloe, so you can be somebody who reacts to it. In which case you may feel itching and burning. It also says though, if you're using aloe and is doing what it's supposed to do, there can be a little bit of slight itching and burning. But if you get rash or hives, it means you're sensitive or allergic to it. It also warns not to use it on infected skin, which is different than inflamed skin, because on infected skin, it can stop your skin from healing. So what I will say about this mask is if they want the main ingredient that's active in here to be, it seems like there's a couple of active ingredients in here, let me say that. There is the aloe, there is their Vichy Spa thermal water, and then there seems to be the salicylic acid and also licorice extract. So I love the idea of the Vichy thermal spring water, thermal spa water, so I kind of like that. But at the same time, as I mentioned, aloe is pretty far down the list of ingredients here, so if you are looking for something that is just very soothing and likely much less expensive than this, you can probably just get a aloe gel and use that almost like a mask. I can see, especially for people who are sensitive to sun like I am, when I go out in the sun, I put on a ton of sunscreen, but even then I will get very red just because no matter how much SPF I have, I just get very overheated being in the sun. So I can see getting like a bottle of aloe gel or, you know, the other mask left over here or another aloe mask and keeping it in the fridge so it's nice and cold could be really nice and soothing in the summertime to help any sort of skin that's been inflamed by the sun. Okay guys, in my time this has been on for 5 minutes, so I am going to go and wash this off, take a good close look at my skin, and come back to tell you what I think. Hey guys, so I am back. It took a little bit of work to wash off my skin because it did have sort of a slippery texture, so it took a bit of going over with water to get it off, but it does feel like it's come off nicely and my skin is feeling really nice and smooth. I'll say that it's feeling smooth and soothed, but not necessarily hydrated. Like I'm still feeling that, I haven't put my moisturizer on yet. I'm still feeling that slight tightness I get around my nose when like I've cleaned my face but haven't moisturized it yet. But everything feels really smooth and balanced, which is really nice. So I think that this did what it said it was going to do with the soothing, and it does feel really good. So is this a mask that I would recommend? And I am a little torn on that one because I think it's a good mask, but I think if I go back to what I was saying earlier, if I wanted something with aloe as the active main ingredient in it, I would probably just invest in some aloe gel, probably a lower price point, much more of that ingredient, because that's generally most of what's in aloe gel is purely aloe gel. I think. I haven't actually looked into that. I seem to remember that from having aloe a while ago when I had a sunburn. But if I look at the range of Vichy masks, I really like the range overall, but I will tell you that if I was going into the 5 range, because there is a charcoal mask, there's a clay mask, there's a hydrating mask, there is a brightening mask, and then there's this aloe soothing mask. And the charcoal one is supposed to be purifying, and sort of the clay is like a cleansing one. I would probably go for either the clay one or the brightening one. I like the way that they make clay masks, which is that they're not overly drying. It leaves your skin feeling really balanced, and you don't have the clay mask on to the point where it hardens and sucks like all of the good oils out of your face. And I like the brightening mask as well, because I felt like it did a little bit more for my skin. The charcoal mask I think is okay. I have my doubts about how much charcoal actually does for our skin. And the hydrating and the aloe one, while I think they have their place, I often think I would just rather use a really good moisturizer and use masks to target other issues with my skin. So that is my review of this mask. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it if you did, please give this a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't and you would like to. That is all from me. I am going to go snuggle up for the night, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye.